everyone, a very good morning to one and all. Welcome back to SISYA class. In today's class, we are going to discuss about the heredity topic from the grade 10. And students, before starting the class, let me introduce myself. I am Sheila Dikshit. I have 2+ years of experience and I have done my masters from Andhra University. And let's start our class, students. I hope everyone are doing well, right? Students, heredity topic is the most important topic that we will learn in our higher grades also. It won't live in our science topic, right? Heredity is the most important topic and most of the students lacking back in this topic. Just learn in a simple way in our today's class. And the topics that to be covered in our today's class, like first of all, we will learn about the definition regarding to the heredity, what is heredity and the main agenda of the heredity, and the variations that present in this topic and Mendel's law and experiments. Right students, these are the topics that we will cover in our today's class. And first thing, we have to see the definition regarding to the heredity. What we all know, the heredity definition in a simple words means it is nothing but the biological process where the living organisms carry the characteristics from our ancestors from generation to generation, right? This is the thing that we all know, which means the heredity. And here let us see some more thing regarding to the heredity. Heredity is the biological process where the living organisms, right students, where the living organisms pass or carry the characteristics from parents to the offspring. Offspring here nothing but the children or generation to generation. The heredity will carry the genes and heredity will carry the characters or the heredity will carry the traits from generation to generation through the genes. Okay, genes are all named as a factors by Mendel, right? Genes are called as factors in the previous, but now it is named as genes. In simple words, heredity means nothing but children look similar to the parents because of the traits are inherited. Okay, how we will look? We look like our parents, right? How we will look like our parents means the characteristics are carried from our parents to the offsprings. Right students, the characteristics or the characters or the traits, everything are passed and carried from our parents to the children and children to their children. This is how the characteristics are carried and passed from generation to generation. Hence, these are inherited and help us to look similar to our parents. Okay students? And examples of heredity, let us see some examples of heredity here students. Okay, you don't understand about F2, don't worry Rishi, I will explain about the F2 generation and F1 generation also. Let us see first of all the definition and the initial steps that present in the heredity. Right Rishi? And while coming to let us see the examples of the heredity traits. What are the examples? Here there are some simple examples that we can see in a physical way, right? Eye color, okay, skin color, and height, shape of the nose and blood color. These are all blood group. These are all the examples of the heredity. Okay, we look like our parents due to the passing of the characters. How the characters pass with the genes. With the help of the genes, the characters are carried and characters are passed from our parents. And these are the examples how we can identify the characters are passed. Like some examples, like we can see the eye color, okay, and skin color, whether it is a fair or whether it is a dark or moderate, and height. Okay, when our parents are very, very tall, we also grow tall because the genes are carried and the characters are carried from our parents. And shape of the nose also, okay students, shape of the nose also, and blood group, okay, blood group. These are all the examples of the heredity. And these traits are transferred through reproductive cells. How these traits are transferred? Through the food we are eating, or by giving a shaking hand, or by giving a hug to our parents? No, the heredity traits are transferred or carried with the help of reproductive cells. What are the reproductive cells? They are nothing but gamete cells What are the gamete cells, students? We already learned in our grade 7 and 8. The gamete cells are nothing but male egg cell and female egg cells. Okay, what are the male egg cells? We call male egg cells as sperm, and while coming to female egg cells called as ovum. Right, students? Through these reproductive cells and through these gametes, the heredity or the genes are transferred and the traits are transferred from parents to the children. Right, students? Yes, good morning everyone. Students, good morning. And see here, these are all the examples for the heredity. And why do offspring look similar but not exactly the same? Yes, we will look little bit similar to our parents but not exact copy of our parents. Why? Why? Because, students, anyone have any idea regarding to this? Like, we are not looking exactly of our parents, but we are having a similar characters and similar traits. Due to the although offspring inherit traits from our parents, they are not identical because of the mixing of the genes. Okay, how the mixing of the genes will be happen? The genes that we are getting from our two parents, like father and from mother. Okay, we are getting genes from both the parents. We are getting genes from our father and as well as we are getting genes from our mother. These both genes are mixing together. So this is the reason we are not looking exact copy of the parents. Just we are getting similar characters from our parents. Hence we are not exact copy of our parents. And there is another one, formation of gametes during meiosis. Okay, meiosis is nothing but the division of the cells will be happen and random fertilization. Okay, there is no any particular fertilization. There is a random fertilization will be happen when there is a passing of the reproductive cells. Right, students? And mutations in DNA also, due to the mutations in DNA and random fertilization and mixing of the genes from two parents, from mother and father, and formation of gametes during meiosis. These are all the changes and these are all the things leads to the variations. Variation is nothing but the changes. Okay, variations are nothing but the changes that we can find within ourselves from our parents and from our siblings. Right, students? We are not exact copy of our parents but we look similar to our parents because these are the reasons that we are not exact copy of them but we look similar to them. Right, students? I think everyone understood about this topic. It is very, very important. Okay, students? Why do offspring look similar but not exactly the same? Right? Yes, how come? It's having the same eyes. Yes, these are the things we are having the similar characters. Okay, we are having the similar characters from our parents, but we are not at all exact copy of them. We are getting the characters we are getting the genes from our parents, but exact the ditto copy will not be getting from them due to the mixing of the genes from two parents. Right? Yes. And while coming to the variation is nothing but the changes. Simply variation defines to the changes. Okay, variations we find changes within our siblings. Okay, we find variations in taste, okay, skin color, hair and height, okay, feelings, emotions. These are all the things we can find changes within our parents, from our cousins, from our siblings. So, students, these variations are nothing but refers to the differences in characteristics among individuals of the same species. Okay, we are the species belongs to the Homo sapiens. Right, students? We are belong to the species of Homo sapiens. And every Homo sapiens are same to each other. No, we are quite different to each other. Even though we are having, everyone having 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 hands and a heart and the liver function, kidney function, everything are happening in every species, but we are quite different from each other. The functions are same, but the characters we are carrying are quite different. We are opposite to each other, because the genes that carried from one person to another person and the genes that present from our parents or from our ancestors are different from each other. So these are all the things we can find the variations within the organisms and within the same species. Okay students? Yes, different phases, because every human being having the same genes of, there is no chance of having the same type of genes. So only that generation to generation carry the same type of genes through the passage of DNA material. Hence that person carry that genes and have similar characters to their parents and to their ancestors. But not every species of Homo sapiens are not same to each other. Right students, I hope. See here, this is an example we can find, and this is the small rabbit, and this is the rabbit with medium, and this is the large rabbit. These are all rabbits. They belongs to same species, but we can find the variations in height. Right students, we can find the variations in height and the characteristics and the genes that present in that particular rabbit. Okay students, let's see the next one. While coming to the types of variations, okay, there are different types of variations we can find, like inherited variations. What are the inherited variations? Inherited variations are nothing but they are passed from our parents, okay, parents to the offspring. It is also very important thing to learn students. Okay, you may get some questions regarding to inherited and acquired characters. Okay, give some examples of the inherited characters and define the acquired characters. Okay, these are the questions they may ask in your exams. So it is very important to see and learn the differences between inherited variations and acquired variations. Let us see about the inherited variations students. While coming to inherited variations, these are the variations passed from our parents, right? Passed from our parents to the offspring. Offspring is nothing but the baby, okay, the child, right students, and controlled by the genes. These are not controlled by our, okay, these are not in our voluntary conditions, these are not voluntary actions, these are controlled. The characters or the things or the variations are controlled by the genes in our body, and these are permanent. These are not temporary one, these are permanent, because genes are present in our body. We cannot remove the genes outside from our body, hence these are permanent. And example, blood group and eye color. Most of the examples that we can see and that we can say for the inherited variations are blood group, right students, and eye color also. And you may have some doubt, our parents, okay, so for example, father and mother both having blood group of B positive, but why the child born with some other blood group? Only due to the genes that passed from the ancestors, okay, from our ancestors the genes are passed, so the genes carried them to change the in their child blood group. Okay students, these are the things that we can learn about the inherited characters. Right students, I hope everyone understood about the inherited variations. Let us see about the acquired variations. What is about acquired variations here? Acquired means it is developed during the lifetime. Not it is inherited from our parents or from our ancestors. It is developed in our body during our lifetime and caused by the environment. It is very important to show in these acquired variation students. It is caused only by the environment, not through the genes. Okay, not through the genes, it is caused by environment and not passed to the offsprings. Okay, it is not passed to the offsprings. Okay, from parents to children it is not passed. Only inherited characters or inherited variations are passed, but not acquired variations are not passed, because acquired variations are temporary. And examples like bodybuilding and scars. Okay, bodybuilding, when the person with a thin body and a weak body, if he went to the gym, he can gain weight. Okay, he can develop his muscles. How he can develop his muscles? Doing some activities, doing some exercises, and it is the change that we can find in him, like it is an acquired. Right students, he is acquiring those weight gain things and developing his body and the skin changing of some skin colors. These are all the things nowadays we are doing. Those are the things acquired, okay, acquired from the environment, not through the genes. So these are the variations called as acquired variations. Right students? And Importance of variations. Why variations are important here? See students, it helps organisms to adapt to changing environment. Variations help us to adapt to the changing environment, like whether we are staying in a cold temperature areas or hot temperature areas or moderate temperature areas. Our body is adapting to that particular area and to that particular environment. So these variations are very, very helpful for every living organisms to adapt to that particular environment. And increase chances of survival. This also helps. When we adapt to that particular thing, it helps us to survive more, right students? And provide raw material for evolution. Okay, it also provide raw material for evolution of species. And let us see about the chromosomes. Chromosomes are nothing but these are the thread-like structures that we can find in the nucleus. Where this nucleus is present, nucleus is called as the brain of the cell. Okay students, nucleus is called as brain of the cell. Hence this nucleus is present in the cell. Inside the cell, nucleus is present, and inside the nucleus we can find these thread-like structures called chromosomes. Okay, these chromosomes carry the genes. The main functions of the chromosomes is to carry the genes. And humans have how many chromosomes, students? Humans have 46 chromosomes. And while they ask how many pairs of chromosomes we can find in humans, means we have to say 23 pairs. And only if they ask how many chromosomes are present and how many chromosomes that we can find in humans, means 46 chromosomes we have to tell. Pairs means 23, and only the chromosomes means the number of chromosomes means we have to tell 46. Right students? And the function of the chromosomes is to carry the genes. And where these chromosomes are present, they are present in the nucleus. And where this nucleus is present, inside the cell. Right students? And let us see about the genes. Okay, and while coming to the genes, they are called as functional unit of heredity. Right students, functional unit of heredity. Our body we call cell as a functional unit, and for kidney, nephron is called as the functional unit, and for heredity, genes are called as functional unit. Okay students, genes are called as functional unit. And where these genes are present means these genes are present in chromosomes, and these chromosomes are thread-like structures we can find. Okay, thread-like structures we can find in the nucleus. Thread-like structures that we can find in the nucleus. And these genes function is to control the specific characters. Okay, these genes are present in the specific, okay, their function is to control the specific characters. While coming to the DNA, see students, while coming to the DNA, the full form of DNA we already know, deoxyribonucleic acid, and this is the chemical substances that makes the genes. Genes are developed and genes are made by the chemical substances called as deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. And it also carries the genetic information. Genetic information is nothing but the heredity material. Okay, genetic information is nothing but the heredity material that passed and carried from our parents to the offspring. And let us see about the father of heredity. Who is the father of heredity? He is Gregor John Mendel. Okay, Gregor John Mendel, he is called as the father of genetics. And why the Gregor John Mendel selected only pea plants for his experiments? Why he selected only pea plants for his experiments, to conduct experiments? Anyone have any idea, students? Why he selected only pea plants? Because these pea plants have short life. Okay, these pea plants have short life and clear contrasting characters we can see, and we can find out the clear contrasting characters that it is carrying, and it is self-pollinated but also participates in cross-pollination. Okay, cross-pollination is also possible, and it is easy to grow. Okay, short life cycle and short lifespan, and we can find here clear contrasting characters and self-pollinated, but cross-pollination is also possible, and it is also easy to grow. These are the main things that Gregor Mendel chosen these pea plants for his experiments. right students? And see here, these are the 7 contrasting characters that we can find in the pea plant. Made Gregor Mendel to do experiments on this pea plant. See the seed shape, seed color, whether it is a round and wrinkled or whether it is yellow and green. And while coming to the flower, color white or violet, and whether it is a form of pod shape, okay, full contrasted green, yellow, and the stem axial pods or terminal pods, tall, short. These are all the things that we can find out the 7 contrasting characters of the pea plants. Okay students, let us see about the Mendel's monohybrid cross. Here monohybrid cross defines it is a genetic cross between 2 individuals. Only between the 2 individuals it happens. Okay, the cross will be happen between 2 individuals that differ in one pair of contrasting characters. And here mono means one and hybrid means mixture of traits. Okay students, mono means one and hybrid means mixture of traits, mixture of genes will be happen, and these monohybrid cross will be happen only between the 2 individuals that differ in one pair of contrasting characters. Right students, let us see the example of monohybrid cross here. Example, the trait studied plant height. Let us take the example of plant height, and the characters that we can see here, one is tall and one is short. Okay, what are the contrasting characters that we are taken in monohybrid cross? The plant height, tall plant and short plant. When we do crossing between this tall plant and short plant, what we will get? We get one tall plant and one short plant. Okay, plant height we took one tall plant and short plant, and the symbols used tall plant for the dominant because it is a tall, it is a dominant character, so it is denoted with the capital T. Okay students, it is denoted with the capital T. And while coming to the short plant, it is a recessive allele, so it is denoted with small t. Right, always the dominant one will treated with the capital and always the short one is treated with the recessive small one. Right students, these are the symbols used to denote the tall plant and short plant. And parental generation, while coming to Mendel's parental generation, pure tall plant and pure short plant. While coming to the pure tall plant, both the parents like plant height capital T and capital T. While coming to pure short plant, we can find both recessive alleles small t, small t. And these plants are true breeding, meaning they always produce offspring with the same trait when they are self-pollinated. Okay students, you have to remember the word self-pollinated. They produce the offspring with the same trait because when they are self-pollinated, the same characters and the same trait are passed to the offsprings. So they develop, so they always produce the offspring with the same traits when they are self-pollinated. While coming to the F1 generation, and Rishi, you asked about the F1 generation. See here carefully, I am explaining about F1 generation, F2 generation here. While coming to F1 generation, here F means filial generation, and when there is a cross between F1 generation like tall and the short alleles, result of all the springs we can find here. Tall, dominant will be always the plant height regarding to the tall. Here when the cross will be happen between these two characters, tall and recessive alleles, we can find the result of offspring, the tall. Right students, see here the tall plant and the short plant is crossed, and the gametes when the whole tall, and the result that we get in the F1 generation is the only tall plant. Okay students, we can find here, this is the example that we can see. While coming to F2 generations in monohybrid cross, when the plant is again self-pollinated, okay, self-pollinated of F1 plants with T, capital T small t into capital T small t alleles, we can see here the results like genotypic ratio and phenotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio is nothing but the genetical characters that passed from parent to offspring, and phenotypic characters are nothing but the physical characters that we can observe and that we can see. While coming to the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1 and phenotypic ratio is 3:1. 1, because here in genotypic ratio we can find 1 pure breed, okay, pure tall breed, and 2 tall and small t recessive allele, and this is also tall and this is also tall, but it is the pure breed we can find pure tall character and pure tall plant, and here, and finally we can find one recessive plant with 2 recessive alleles, dwarf plant. And while coming to phenotypic ratio, we can see 3:1, and 3 tall plants we can see the phenotypic ratio, and 1 short plant we can see in the phenotypic ratio, and this is regarding to the result of F2 generation. While coming to the Mendel's law of inheritance, there are 3 different laws of Mendel's law we can find and we can see here. While coming to the first one, this is the law of segregation. While coming to the law of segregation, alleles separate during gamete formation. Segregation means separating, right students? Segregation means separating the things, and this segregation happens, the alleles separate during the gamete formation only, okay? The alleles and the genes that are separated only, okay, during the gamete formation itself, these are separated, and each gamete receives only 1 allele, okay? Each gamete which are separated during gamete formation, each allele which is separated during gamete formation receives only 1 allele, okay? When each gamete receives only 1 allele during this law of segregation. And Mendel's law of segregation, this is the example that we can see regarding to the law of segregation. Each gamete received only 1 allele, and these alleles are separated during gamete formation. While coming to inheritance of 2, let us see about dihybrid cross here students. Inheritance of 2 traits at the same time will be happen here. While coming to monohybrid cross, we find only in the 2 individuals, we can find here only in the individual. Once I will show here students, see. The cross will be happen only between the 2 individuals, okay, differ in 1 pair. While coming to the dihybrid cross, we can see this cross happens inheritance of 2 traits at the same time. At the same time, inheritance of 2 traits will be happen. Example, seed shape and seed color. These 2 inheritance are happened in the at a time, same time. Okay, same time it will be happen. We can find the 2 traits. What are the 2 traits here? Seed shape, whether it is a round or whether it is a wrinkle, and seed color, whether it is an yellow or whether it is a green. These are all the things we can find in the dihybrid cross, because inheritance of 2 traits will be happen in the same time. See students, while coming to the dihybrid cross, the F1 generation here, capital R and capital Y, when it crossed with smaller and small y, the result that we get, and the F2 generation crossing will be happen here, and F1 generation, the result we are getting all round yellow, okay, all round yellow pea seeds we can find here. And while coming to F2 generation, when it is crossed, okay, the crossing over happened between capital R smaller and capital Y small y, and capital R smaller, capital Y small y, this is the crossing between in F2 generation we can find, and the result we can find in F2 generation is 9:3:3:1. Here the yellow round thing is 9, and green round we can find 3, and wrinkled yellow seed we can find 3, and wrinkled green seed we can see here 1. So this is the result that we can find the phenotypic characters of F2 generation. Okay students, this is the thing of dihybrid cross we can find when it is happening and when it is participated in crossing over. And the next one is, the next law is law of independent assortment. Law of independent assortment, here the alleles of different traits assort independently, and inheritance of one trait does not affect the other one also. It is very important students, the inheritance of one trait does not affect the another trait. So it is called as law of independent assortment, and Mendel proved this law using dihybrid cross, because the one trait does not affect the another trait, hence this law is proved and law is used by Mendel in dihybrid cross. And how traits are inherited? How the traits are inherited from parents to offsprings, from generation to generation means the traits are controlled by the genes. Right students, the traits are controlled by the genes, and these genes are the segments of DNA. Okay, genes are the segments of the DNA, and these are the chemical substances which make the genes and DNA is present on the chromosomes. Chromosomes are nothing but the thread-like structures that are present in the nucleus, and these chromosomes are present in the nucleus. Nucleus is present inside the cell. How traits are inherited means during the sexual reproduction introduces variation due to crossing over. The traits are inherited, on the genes are inherited, and random fusion of gametes will lead to the inheritance. Okay students, these are all the things we can find in the sexual reproduction. These are the things that we can find how the traits are inherited from parents to offsprings. And let us see about the sex determination in humans. How the sex determination will be happen in humans means it is the biological process where the sex of the child to find out whether it is a male or female is decided at the time of fertilization. Fertilization is nothing but the fusion of gametes. Right students, fertilization is nothing but fusion of gametes. Where this fertilization will be happen? Fusion of gametes is nothing but fertilization, and where it happens? It happens in the fallopian tube. We already know and we already learned in our lower grades, fertilization will be happen in the fallopian tube, and it is nothing but the fusion of gametes, and in this fertilization process it is decided, and it is the time to decide the sex of the child, whether it is a male or whether it is a female. And in human, sex determination depends on the sex of chromosomes. Okay, sex determination depends on the sex chromosomes that passing from the parents. Okay, that passing from the parents. And the chromosomes, how many chromosomes are present in humans? The total chromosomes in number we all know it is 46, and whether it comes to pairs, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes that we can find in the humans, and there are one pair of chromosomes called as sex chromosomes, one pair of chromosomes that defines the sex of the child, and the remaining 22 chromosomes are autosomes. Okay students, and see, this is how the chromosomes, like these are the gametes present in the cells of male and female. While coming to father, father carries X and Y, and mother carries 2 X cells. And when the father and mother carries, like father carries X chromosome and mother also carries X chromosome, the sex of the child is determined as daughter. Okay, girl child. And while coming to the boy child, when the father carries X, okay, when the father carries X and mother, when father carries Y and mother carries X, then it is decided as a boy child. Okay students, both they are X, it is called as girl child or daughter. And while coming to both the parents, like one carries Y and one carries X, it is denoted as boy child or son. Right students, this is how the sex is determined in humans. While coming to in females, all over, O is nothing but the egg cells in females contain only X chromosomes. Every female, okay, every mother carries only X chromosomes. There is no any Y chromosomes we can find here, only X chromosomes we find in the mother body. Okay students, and while coming to the males, males carry both X chromosome, okay, X cell and Y cell. They carries both X and Y cells, and while coming to female, they carry only X chromosomes, but males carry both X and Y chromosomes, and this is how the sex of the child is determined in the humans. Right students? And let us see about the PYQs, and once again just recall about the things that we discussed about the heredity. Heredity is nothing but, in simple words, let us see, a heredity is nothing but the passing or the carrying of characters from parents to offspring. This is the thing we learned, a simple definition regarding to the heredity, and examples that the traits that are carried from our parents. What are the traits? Nothing but genes. Genes carry the traits or the characters like eye color, hair, tall, okay, in height. These are all the things, blood group, these are all the things carried from our parents to the offspring. These are the examples, and we find and we learned about the variations, why the child have similar characters and he is not at all the exact copy of the parent, means because we find the variations, like we find some variations regarding to the skin color or regarding to the changes inherited or acquired. So these are the things we learned, inherited variations and acquired variations. Inherited variations are nothing but variations that are passed through the genes from our parents, and these are the permanent, okay, these are the permanent one. And while coming to acquired genes, they are not permanent and they are acquired through the environment. Okay students, they are acquired through the environment. Examples, bodybuilding, scars, these are all the examples regarding to the acquired characters. And we learned about Mendel's laws, and we learned about monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. We learned about the F1 generation and F2 generation, and we learned about the ratios. And these are all the things that are present in hereditary topic regarding to a grade 10th. Right students, let us see some important PYQs. These are the things, these are the questions that mostly asked in the exams. While coming to one more question, what is heredity? It is frequently asked in every board exam. And what is the genotype of the homozygous recessive individual? Okay students, it also contains 1 mark. And which parent determines the sex of the child in humans? Which parent is determined as the sex of the child? Is not father. Father is considered as he will determines the sex of the child. Okay, father is the one who determines and who decides the sex of the child, and it is not at all depends on the mother, because mother carries both X chromosomes and father carries one X chromosome and Y chromosome. And let us see the 2 marks questions. While coming to the 2 marks questions, differentiate between inherited and acquired traits. We already know inherited traits are nothing but they are passed from our parents and is a permanent. And while coming to acquired traits, these are acquired from the environment and these are not permanent one. And while coming to the next one, write the phenotypic ratio of F2 generation in monohybrid cross. Right students, and states Mendel's law of dominance and explain with an example. It contains 3 marks. And what are the variations, why they are important? Okay, why they are important? Help to survival the species in the evolution and adapt to that particular environment. We already discussed about all these questions. And explain Mendel's monohybrid cross with the help of a Punnett square. It is very important students. Not only the descriptive part, we also add some diagrams to that particular question, to particular answer. It will be helpful for you all to score more in your exams. And the next one, state and explain the law of independent assortment. Okay, we learned about the laws of Mendel's laws. So this question also carries 5 marks students. It is also very important. And explain the sex determination in humans with a diagram. How we will determine father carries XY and the crossing will be happen. XX chromosomes are present in mother. So here we will find the crossing will be happen, and finally the boy child and the girl child will be developed. So it is also carries 5 marks. And while coming to case-based questions, a tall pea plant was crossed with a short plant. Okay, these are the case-based questions students. All plants in F1 were tall and F1 plants were self-pollinated. Short plants appeared in F2 generation. Okay, we have to read carefully the textbook part also. Not only the question and answers, and you have to read the textbook part also. It will be helpful for you to solve the case-based questions. Okay students, and I hope everyone liked and understood the class, and it will be very helpful for you all to achieve more and score more in your exams. And it is also a small topic and important topic, and don't forget to subscribe and like the class and download the SISYA class for further more classes. And thank you all for listening the class. See you on the next class. Bye everyone.